Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, I want to show you some really fun new cards coming out in Remix Bout. They are alternate art trainer cards, which we can expect to be getting as League promos in the not-too-distant future. You see, we didn't get that many new trainer cards in Remix Bout. It's a new set that's just come out in Japan. Now to be fair, the ones we got were really good and made us extremely happy, but we really didn't get very many of them at all. We got Great Catcher, which admittedly is great, as the name might suggest, and is likely to see a huge amount of play in the future, potentially new staple. We saw Professor Oak's Setting, which should see a fair amount of play, and Roller Skater, which should see a little bit of play here and there. But we also got some really nice alternate art of existing trainers. Incidentally, I have done videos about those new trainers. I will pop links in the description. So if you want to see a full discussion about them, great news. Not very difficult to find. So, what are we getting then? We're getting a new copy of Acrobat. Acrobat lets you look at the top two cards of your deck, put one in your hand and discard the other one. It can be really nice in any decks that want the discard. Think Naganadel for discarding energy, or Vesperquen for discarding Pokemon, etc. It's not seen a huge amount of play lately. It's really good in speed decks. It's really good when you absolutely, positively have to get set up as fast as you can. Used to see quite a bit more play before Garbodor came around. Garbodor really put us all off playing trainers, and Garbodor was weird, right? Because it came out and it couldn't have had much of a faster start. 75% of top 32 and top 8 in Seattle straight after it was released, and then it kind of disappeared off the map, and now it's going to rotate out very, very quietly. But without stuff like that punishing us for playing item cards, Acrobat seems like it could make a little bit of a comeback. It's really quite nice. You can expect all of these alternate arts to come across as League promos, League Cup promos, League Challenge promos in the near future, though do bear in mind they are alternate art, or they will be alternate art. So Acrobat came around in Celestial Storm. It survives this rotation. It won't survive the next. Speaking of ways to transport yourself around in the Pokemon world, we're also getting an alternate art version of a skateboard. And a skateboard is brilliant. It's kind of funny because a skateboard actually has been I want to say a League Challenge promo. Pretty much when it came out. But when it came out, it was garbage. We had Floatstone. Nobody cared. And I remember there was a person, lovely chap I believe called Charlie, who was just hoovering these up, and he had like 50 of them. And then Jirachi came out. And now a skateboard is just flat out over the top, unquestionably phenomenally awesome. Sees a huge amount of play in a whole bunch of decks, as it gosh darned well should. It reduces your retreat cost by 1 while allowing you to retreat while asleep or paralysed. To be fair, it's going to have a lot of competition next format from U-Turn Board, which reduces your retreat cost by 1, but if it gets discarded from the field, you get to put it back into your hand. And it's cool. But this is a really good card that is seeing a lot of play, and incidentally, should be seeing a huge amount of play. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's tailor-made for Jirachi, but anytime you're worried about sleep or paralysis, this has got your back. Now, if you're not worried about sleep or paralysis, honestly, I lean more towards U-Turn Board, because your opponent can't just discard it, because you get it back. But outside of that, this is a good card. Now, I've shown you two really good cards that see a lot of play. There is an alternate art card which is beautiful in artwork, but it's not terribly good. We're getting Lady. Lady lets you search for 4 basic energy and put them into your hand. And look, I adore the new artwork of Lady. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it is significantly better than the old print of Lady. I just think the artwork's a whole load better. Now, in terms of the card searching for 4 energy, it's a good effect, but most of the time people don't seem to consider it good enough to be your supporter for the turn. Certainly, if you're looking at decks like Magnezone, it can attach as much energy as they like. And when I say Magnezone, we could be talking lightning or metal, either will work. In decks like that, then yes, it is significantly better. And there are decks like Alolan Executor, for instance, that does more damage for each type of basic energy in your discard pile, so searching out 4 different types with Lady, and then discarding them with something like Zeb Striker could work. And to be fair, we are getting a new Duskull coming out. Basically, it lets you discard 3 cards from your hand and then search your deck for a Dusclops and evolve. To be fair, you don't even need to evolve into Dusclops. Remember that your deck is private. So even if your opponent knows you're playing Dusclops, and even if they've seen it in a previous game, or in an opening hand, or whatever, you still get to say, yeah, I'm not going to bother. It's completely optional. Your deck is secret. Even if your opponent has done some working out and has figured out for absolute certain what is left in your deck, doesn't matter. The game says they don't know and they're not allowed to know. So you can just use Duskull to discard as well. In decks like that, Lady actually does perform a quite nice niche service. It's a decent card, but it has seen very little play. And finally, we're getting an alternate art version of Welder. Although you'll notice that the character art here is extremely reminiscent of the full art version. Which is weird because the full art version is in no way reminiscent of the version from Unbroken Bonds. Welder is phenomenal. Welder is one of the best supporter cards we've had in a very long time, and it basically has just single-handedly made fire decks amazing again. Now don't get me wrong, Blacephalon was good with Naganadel and Beastring, and Reshiram and Charizard is still a good Pokemon, but without Welder it would be not nearly as good. You get to attach 2 fire energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon and draw 3 cards. You even get to draw 3 cards. So it's energy acceleration with draw. And okay, we don't think How is quite good enough just drawing 3 cards, but we certainly think that Welder is good enough, allowing you to draw 3 cards after having already attached 1 or 2 energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. It's really over the top good. One of my saddest Pokemon memories of recent time is when I turn 1 judged my opponent into a Welder and 2 fire energy. It made me extremely sad, ladies and gentlemen. But the point is, it sees a huge amount of play in Reshiram and Charizard. It sees a huge amount of play in Baby Blacephalon. Hey, Nick, people play it with Arcanine, and to be frank, any fire deck from here until it rotates out is going to end up using Welder pretty much as a 4-of. And here's the thing, right? Maybe you have all of these cards. Fine. Maybe you don't need Welder. Great. Remember that people are joining this game all the time, and these are going to be given out as promo cards. It's not 100% confirmed, but Japan's been getting these alternate arts in their sets for a little while now. We've not been covering them in these videos. I'm going to start doing it. Let me know if this is the kind of thing you want me to cover. But certainly, it's something I want to do a little bit more of, because people do ask me, wait, what alternate arts has Japan had? And I thought, right, well, let's start doing it in a video every time a set comes out. We'll go through all the cards in the set, and then when I show you the secret rares and the top 10 list, we can also do a video like this. Point is, people want these cards. Sometimes they want the alternate artwork, but sometimes they're just newer players who don't have Welder. And when Unbroken Bonds is new, Welder's everywhere and it's not hard to pick up. But a year or 2 down the line, if Welder hasn't received any kind of reprint, and Unbroken Bonds hasn't been being sold in shops for a little while, and people have kind of picked up and stashed them, these really playable trainer cards like Welder actually do pick up a little bit of value. So the more promo cards we get, the more alternate art prints we get, the lower the value is going to go on the card as a whole, and the easier it's going to be for newer players to pick up. And we need newer players, ladies and gentlemen. Without newer players, the game doesn't do so well. So I think from these 4 alternate art promos we've got, or will be promos over here, we got 2 that are amazing, them being Welder and a Skateboard, one which is pretty good, Acrobat, and one which is going to see almost no play, Lady. I think these are cool. I'm looking forward to getting them as promos, but I'd like to know what you're thinking. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! but please remember to be nice. It's very important. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't even have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.